So my presentation will be on the conservation of the Guadalupe fur seal. My name is Tristan Storey, and this is for Biology 101 6B. This seal is one of the 6 seals that are in its genus, which is called the Arcetopophalus townsendi. Here are some facts about the Guadalupe fur seal. The weight can vary from around 100 to 400 pounds, depending on the gender. Females obviously being lighter than males, but it all depends on what they eat and what food is available to them at the time. But usually the average weight for males and females being around 200 to 250 pounds. Another fact would be that these seals live in the West Coast, typically near California, but they do tend to venture out to find food, which we'll talk about later. These seals can get pretty big too. The females can get anywhere from 5 to 6 feet long, and the males can get up to 6 to 7 feet long. These seals can also survive anywhere from 15 to 30 years within the right circumstances and what is provided for them food-wise. The Guadalupe seals are carnivorous, which means they mainly eat small fish, and that they mainly eat small fish that they can successfully hunt, and sometimes squid if they can get their hands on it. These Guadalupe fur seals were thought to be extinct before they were even seen before. Scientists found evidence that led to the Guadalupe fur seal becoming its own species in 1897. They hadn't actually seen one of these seals before this, so they had made the species for them, expecting them to be extinct. The first time scientists found proof, though, that the seals were actually alive and not extinct was in 1928. When they were discovered in 1928, they were found on an island called Guadalupe within Mexico. Whenever they were found, 2 of these seals were brought back by scientists to the San Diego Zoo in order to try and protect and preserve their species and slowly rebuild their population size. When they were found on the island, there were only about a dozen of these seals. But with the help of Mexico and the United States, this species of seal is recovering slowly and is slowly regaining its size and population. The estimated total for this species is around 30,000 seals. The original Guadalupe island they were found on is also now designated to these seals and has been named their sanctuary. Some of the main things that stop their population from growing as fast as other seals in their genus is the food supply. They hunt small fish, but with the temperature of the water rising where they live, the fish are resorting further and further out from where the seals live, which means every time the seals need a meal, they have to go further and further just to eat. These seals are protected under the U.S. Endangered Species Act and the U.S. Marine Mammal Protection Act. This is to try and further preserve their species and to prevent hunters trying to kill these seals for profit. Apart from this species of seal almost going extinct within the 1800s, they still suffer from complications and struggles today. Many of these seals get caught in fish nets and get stuck and are stranded, and they're left to die. Whenever they were being hunted within the 1800s, they were getting killed for their beautiful fur and their blubber. These seals are incredibly hard to find and even harder to help because of how often they are moving around trying to find food for themselves. In 2015, the Guadalupe fur seals In 2015 was the Guadalupe fur seal's best year. 32 of these seals were rescued within this year. That doesn't sound like a lot, but between the time that we figured out about these seals that weren't extinct and 2015, the most amount of seals rescued in any given year before 2015 was no more than 5. So 32 is very good for this species. Some of these seals have ventured so far out of their original home in order to try and find food that they never come back. It has been reported that some of these seals have been found washed up on beaches, dead to the lack of food. Scientists are taking these bodies and trying to do research on them to figure out anything that they can about these seals and as much possible about them to try and help them out more. The Marine Mammal Center helps track down this species and tags the seals with satellite tags in order to watch them and where they go and what they do and their feeding patterns and where they go to eat. Some of the seals that have been tagged have shown how hard it is to find food for this species. These seals typically like to stay down near the bottom of California, near the west coast, but these seals that are being monitored have traveled so far to find food that they have been found so far up north that they have been seen anywhere between Oregon and Canada just to go and find food for themselves. The Marine Mammal Center also takes tissue samples of these seals in order to try and find any information about health complications that they can with these seals in order to try their best to help protect these seals and grow their population. These seals are actually very territorial. Whenever they are defending their territory, the males are called a bull. They also tend to mate with 4 to 12 different female seals at a time during the mating period, and the females that are being mated with are called a harem. This makes the mating type of the seals polygynous. Whenever the females are pregnant, they tend to slow down and not be as aggressive. Once they have given birth to their baby seal, they nurture the baby on average for around 9 to 11 months. After this time period, the baby no longer needs to be tended to and it becomes much more independent. These seals have a specific breeding period of the 15th of June to the end of the 22nd of July. This also is why they usually schedule their babies, because the females are usually ready to mate 7 to 11 days the year after their previous mating season, or they had given birth to their baby seal. So for these seals on the road to recovery, they didn't really start off strong, but with the help of many protection institutions and protection acts and people trying to stop the hunting of these, people trying to clean up our oceans, and generous donations of people to sites that can actually help people and researchers help these seals. It looks like the seals are slowly recovering from almost extinction in the 1800s and 1900s. Their population has gradually grown at an average rate of 5 to 10% each year, which sounds like a lot, but they didn't start off with many seals at all. So it's been a very slow road to recovery and growing their population. So that is my story on the preservation of the population of the Guadalupe fur seals.